Hey, what's up everybody? Lawler here, your inside source for Rocket League with another power rankings for Europe. As mentioned yesterday, the official regular season for the fall split has finished. The only thing that is left is the makeup major because of COVID. It is going to be another regional versus double points, and you guys should be able to see that right below me. If you look at the standings, those are all the teams that will be invited, all 16 that will be competing for double points that will go towards the World Championship at the end of the year. Vitality, the one that is highlighted separately because they ended up qualifying directly from the grid and have the points as well. So with that said, let's jump straight into our top 10. At number 10 is going to be Oxygen. They're dropping down a spot, and a lot of it has to do with the lack of results as always. Still think Oxygen's a really good team, still put up a fight here and there, but other than a couple of results here in the grid and some decent results there, the regionals just weren't their thing. They do get past the first round, which is exciting, but they can't continue past that out of top 16. So unfortunate for Oxygen, we don't get to see them kind of get past the hurdle, but they are progressing in a better direction, and the teams ahead of them are doing it better. The one right above them is going to be an interesting one for a lot of you, but Oxygen, again, slow and steady progress. That mental coach hopefully making a difference for them. At number 9 is going to be Endpoint, and Endpoint's a weird one because they absolutely dominate in regionals, make it all the way to the grand final, but that's about it. They did have some performances that were exciting, but when it came to the grid, it was just lackluster, out of top 8 and not really there, while the other teams that are ahead of them made some waves. Their regional performance is big, but I also try to make sure that within the last week or two that recency bias is held. Endpoint, I do argue, could be a little bit higher because of how well they did perform in those regionals, but at number 8 and right above them is actually going to be Liquid. Liquid does make a grand final as well as a semi-final back-to-back, and yes, the results from regionals aren't that great. I do have a little bit of bias in the way that they are trending. This one could be argued, and I do agree that 8, 9, and 10 might possibly be switched up. I think I'm pretty solidified on 10, but 8 and 9, I think you could bump Endpoint up a little bit more. I will say with the way that these matches are traded up and how these teams have been performing, 5 through 8 was actually really difficult. Hell, 5 through 9 was actually really difficult. But hopefully when I explain this next one, it's going to make a little bit more sense because I have to pair these together. 5, 6, and 7 to me are pretty much the exact same. It is a mixture between Guild, Barcelona, and Galaxy Racer. Galaxy Racer, the previous Monkey Squad. I think all 3 of these teams at any given time could be 5, 6, or 7, depending on the results. Barcelona has beat Galaxy Racer in regionals in top 8, but Galaxy Racer over the past month has made top 8, a grand finals, a semifinals, another top 8 performance, and that's both in grid as well as regionals. Their results have been pretty solid. At the same time, Guild has also made a grand finals in the grid. They've also performed top 8 in numerous results. The same thing can be said about Barcelona. Top 8 results numerous times, semifinal appearances. The results are varied across the board, and some of that is stopped by either strength of schedule going up against a BDS or otherwise. So all 3 of these teams I think can interchange. It depends on how they are playing on the day, and that is what is going to lead me personally in determining who ends up moving into the 5, 6, or 7 spot. So I do have a little bit of an asterisk next to that number 5 spot, and all 3 of these teams could be in that conversation depending on how things play out on that day. So keep that in mind. I do think Guild, Barcelona, and Galaxy Racer are all 3 teams that are competing and doing really well. A little bit of bias for myself with Galaxy Racer, and maybe that's why I put them at 7th, or because I just don't want to update the stuff on the side of where they are. All 3 of these teams could technically be in that same spot for my personal belief. But as of late, I think Arju's addition with Galaxy Racer would probably give them the nod. But then you see Guild, and Guild either looks like the best team in Europe or they look like complete crap. So it goes back and forth. I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. Barcelona is probably the most stable out of them. Maybe Galaxy Racer. And this is why I have that conversation, is I've been kind of ranting about these 3 for the past couple minutes. And I do believe that you could make arguments for each one kind of jumping over the top. And that's why I have teams like Endpoint and Liquid a little bit lower. So again, this could go either way. I think this area right now is very, very difficult. Looking at number 4 is going to be Top Blokes, and they do take a step down. This one's a little bit more difficult for me. It was more so because of the team above them having better results, and because Top Blokes is playing with a sub 2 weeks ago. In week 8, they ended up playing with Emre. They come back 1 week. 1 week is not enough for me to completely remove a team that has had good performances across the board. So Top Blokes still, I even had some of the pro players in chat while we were doing this today. And they're just like, yeah, Top looks is still a solid top 4 team, but the top 3 is pretty much an argument based upon where you want to put them. So Top looks is going to move a step down because at number 3 is going to be the Giants, moving back up. Obviously, Talk's situation ends up removing them. You want to take those results into account, and it ends up not performing well. So now that they are back with their team, they're solidified as a full 3 unit with Talks. They end up winning the whole thing in the grid. They end up going to the grand finals and taking a victory, and they looked pretty convincing and had some pretty hard matches along the way as well. So Giants, obviously a week off doesn't let me have any kind of real results, so it keeps you guys neutralized, and Top looks did have some results, so you bump them up. And now in this case, Giants, now that they have the full team, they end up winning the whole thing. So again, even more parity in Europe. That is nothing new. That just seems to be the way that it goes. So in this circumstance, Giants moving back into top 3 and on the podium. At number 2 is going to be Vitality, and I'm going to reveal number 1 because you guys obviously know this is who it is between BDS or Vitality. I think both these teams are astounding. Quite honestly, both of these teams at any given moment can win a world championship. I want to give in a LAN environment Vitality the nod, but we're not at LAN yet. We've got a long ways to go before we even begin to believe that, and that sucks because I really wish that we were headed, if you guys didn't see my tweet, I wish that this 2 weeks was to build up to a LAN and we all got to go and travel to like a DreamHack or something and watch these teams compete internationally live. It really, really sucks that we don't get to watch that, and I hate it. I really wish we were going to do something like that so we could finally see for the first time in a year what these teams would be able to do international competition. Looking more so specifically at just Europe, I want to know how BDS would perform on a LAN environment. I know Vitality's fine. I have no issues with Vitality on LAN. They're goated as far as anybody can believe. KDOP hasn't missed a grand final in legitimately 6 world championships, maybe 7. I forget what the exact number is. Either way, KDOP's a freak. So you're pairing that with Alpha, who I consider a player who is most definitely in consideration for MVP in Europe right now. You then look at BDS. My personal pick is Mark by 8. I talked about this a lot in my recap video about how much I like Mark by 8 and what he's doing as an MVP. But that's also paired with a really good addition of Extra and Monkey Moon, who also could be considered in that category. So this one comes down to results, both going back and forth. Neither of these teams ended up making the most recent top result. I think it was BDS that ended up losing to Giants in the quarters or the semis. But BDS, to me, right now, is the better team. Vitality hit and misses sometimes. I think they always have the capability to win the whole thing, but there are certain times where they just don't play to that level of expectation. While BDS, almost every single time I watch them play, it's competitive and they're at that bar. So between both these rosters, interchangeable, I think, at any given moment. Both are the top of their respective region. But at this point, flip a coin. Let me know what you guys think, because BDS and Vitality are both super strong. This is where I'm going to probably let my bias show a little bit. I really enjoy this BDS team ever since I saw them in that promotion relegation kind of area back at the end of season 9 and into season 10. BDS was a team that I just saw and was like, they have it. They figured out how to play as a RLCS level team. They are towards the top, and it was still surprising watching Extra just slot in perfectly, and this team continues to play really well. Kind of final thoughts too with Giants. I mean, Giants was a team that was RCD Espanyol. They weren't even supposed to play in the RLCS this season if we kept to the old format. So some things to keep in mind now that we have officially wrapped up the regular season. Obviously, we have the majors coming up, and I guess I should go full screen for this. We have the regular season officially wrapped up. We have the majors coming up in a week or so. OCE will be on the 9th and the 10th. If you guys haven't watched that video, make sure you guys go check that out. We also have then EU, NA, and South America playing the following week, like the 14th, and that'll go the 14th and then the immediate week after on the 21st. That does that for all 3 regions. So the next 2 weeks we'll have regionals or like a major makeup that'll be going down, and then as soon as I know what's going on with the winter split, because the winter split will come in, top 10 teams from the grid keep their spots. We've got to see who qualifies in for the last 6 spots. But we also have to figure out the new format and what's going to be for that. So a lot of that stuff will be coming, and hopefully keeping you guys up to date on those. But because that stuff is done, we don't really have power rankings to do or recaps to do or a lot of the content. So I guess ultimately I'm asking you guys what you would like to see. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys would like kind of preparing for majors, things to keep your eyes on, or kind of an overall opinion on all the 16 teams that are going to be playing, or what kind of stuff you want to see with that. We're still going to try to do, you guys liked the cup opening stuff. I'll try to save up some points and do those, and maybe just open only prospect cups. with like 50,000 points, because that's a lot of cups. So, and then do trade ups and see how that works out. I don't know. Let me know what you guys want for content now that we're kind of waiting for stuff. I'm also moving right now. I also just got announced as a panelist for the Esports Awards. So there's a lot of moving parts going on in life right now. So if I kind of take a step back from like YouTube and Twitch for a little bit, it's just because I'm trying to move and get into a new studio and get that all figured out. But again, any kind of support on the video is greatly appreciated. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, as well as make sure to hit subscribe as always, turn on notifications, all that fun stuff. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and we will catch you guys next time. Peace.